In the vast, rolling blue of the Pacific, there lies a place where history changed forever. A battle fought without the thunder of warships, without the clash of steel hulls, without admirals watching their enemies across a smoking horizon. It was the first time two fleets would strike each other without ever coming into sight. A battle where airplanes, not battleships, shaped destiny. A battle that opened the door to Midway and foreshadowed the end of an empire. This is the Battle of the Coral Sea. By early 1942, the Pacific was burning. Japan had swept across Southeast Asia with astonishing force. Hong Kong, Malaya, the Philippines. Every victory fed Tokyo's belief that its empire was destined for greatness. But Australia, still standing, still fighting, was the last major Allied bastion in the Southwest Pacific. If Australia fell or was isolated, Japan could dominate an entire hemisphere. Tokyo understood this. So did Washington. To isolate Australia, the Japanese proposed a daring plan. Capture Port Moresby in New Guinea, securing airfields that would threaten Allied bases and shipping routes. If Port Moresby fell, Australia would be cut off, and the balance of the Pacific would tilt permanently. The Japanese Operation MO, moved fast. A landing fleet, a covering force, and most importantly, two of Japan's prized carriers. Shōkaku, soaring crane. Zuikaku, auspicious crane. Modern, fast, deadly. Against them stood the U.S. Pacific Fleet's carriers. USS Lexington, Lady Lex. USS Yorktown, battle-tested at Coral Sea's doorstep. Neither side knew exactly where the other was. What they did know was that the battle would decide the fate of Australia. In Washington, Admiral Nimitz understood the stakes. He dispatched Task Force 17, Admiral Fletcher in command, into the Coral Sea. Two fleets racing toward a place neither truly saw, guided only by codebreakers, reconnaissance, and fate. Before the first plane launched, before the first torpedo fell, the battle began in quiet, crowded rooms filled with cigarette smoke and typewriters. American codebreakers at Station Hypo in Hawaii, led by the brilliant Joseph Rochefort, had cracked portions of Japanese naval codes. They learned of a new operation, its outline hazy, its target unclear. Then came the clue. A coded request from Japan mentioning the need for weather reports from Area MO, the Coral Sea. Rochefort sent word to Nimitz. They are coming for Port Moresby. This knowledge gave the United States something Japan did not expect, the chance to strike first. It was here, in the shadows of intelligence, that the Battle of the Coral Sea truly began. On May 4th, 1942, the calm was shattered. Yorktown launched planes against the Japanese at Tulagi. It wasn't the main invasion force, but it sent a message. The Americans were not as blind or as weak as Japan had hoped. Bombs fell on Japanese ships. Some were sunk, others damaged. The Pacific trembled. Both fleets now knew the enemy was close. Very close. The hunters had found each other, and the Coral Sea was about to erupt. May 7th brought chaos. Both carrier groups sent aircraft out at dawn. Search planes sweeping vast stretches of empty ocean. Mistakes followed. American flyers first attacked a small Japanese oiler, thinking it was a carrier. Japanese aircraft struck the U.S. oiler Neosho, believing it was a carrier. Two mighty fleets, one ocean, and so much empty blue between them. But the mistakes wouldn't last. Destiny was drawing the lines tighter. By afternoon, the true battle was ready to begin. May 8th, 1942. The morning sun rose on a moment that would change naval warfare forever. For the first time in history, two carrier fleets launched full-scale strikes at each other, and neither fleet saw the other with its own eyes. American scouts spotted the Japanese carriers first. Fletcher gave the order: "Launch everything we have." Dive bombers and torpedo planes roared off Lexington and Yorktown, the sky filled with wings and faith. At the same time, Shōkaku and Shōkaku launched their own strike groups at the Americans. Two storms, rising from opposite ends of the ocean, racing toward each other. The duel had begun. The American pilots reached the Japanese fleet first. Shōkaku was caught under a clear sky, a perfect target. Yorktown's dive bombers plunged through flak and smoke, screaming downward. Explosions tore across Shōkaku's deck. Fires raged. The ship staggered, wounded, but alive. Meanwhile, the Japanese strike group reached the American carriers. Torpedoes streaked across the water. Bombs fell from the clouds. Lexington, Lady Lex, took multiple hits. A fuel vapor explosion rocked her hull, then another. She burned fiercely, smoke rising like a dark monument on the sea. Yorktown maneuvered violently, avoiding damage, refusing to die. The Pacific became a crucible of flame and steel. By afternoon, the fires aboard Lexington grew uncontrollable. Aboard the ship, sailors fought with unbroken courage. But damage control teams realized the truth. Lady Lex was lost. Admiral Fitch gave the order to abandon ship. Men climbed down ropes into the sea, not in panic, but with the solemn dignity of warriors who had fought to the last moment. As the crew cleared the area, destroyers fired torpedoes into Lexington, sending her to a deep, blue grave. The ocean closed over her gently, as if paying respect. When the smoke cleared, both sides withdrew. Japan had sunk more tonnage. The US had lost Lexington. But the strategic victory belonged unmistakably to the Allies. Japan's plan to take Port Moresby was cancelled. The invasion force turned back. The road to Australia remained open. And perhaps most importantly, Shōkaku was heavily damaged. Shōkaku's air groups were shattered. Neither could join the next great battle. 1 month later, at Midway, their absence would change everything. The Battle of the Coral Sea stands as a turning point. The first carrier versus carrier battle in history. The first major Japanese advance stopped. The battle that set the stage for Midway. The moment aircraft carriers replaced battleships forever. Though neither side could claim a perfect victory, the Allies had achieved something far greater. Hope. A belief that Japan could be stopped. A belief that the tide could change. A belief that the vast Pacific, so wide, so deep, could one day belong to freedom again. And from this belief, a new chapter of the war began. And maybe the real question is not who won the Coral Sea, but how this battle truly changed the fate of the Pacific.